they say. If you want to be a speaker, you need a book. If you want to have a certain type of business, you need to write a book. Well, maybe you do and maybe you don't. And today on Make It Click, I'm excited to have with me a specialist in the area of writing books and publishing, and that is Katrina Sawa of Jumpstart Your Business. Welcome to Make It Click, Katrina.
Thanks, Christine. Yay, I'm so good to be here.
Yes, and as we can see behind you, you have a lot of books that you have published. And I'd like to dive right in here and help our listeners really reflect on really why they're writing the book and things that they need to think about so that if they're going to spend the time and the money to do it, their end goal is achieved. So, what are some of those things that they really need to
Yes.
think about?
Well, when I never wanted to write a book. Okay, so I had no interest in writing a book. When I first started my business, it was 21 years ago. And I thought, well, why do I want to sell a $20 thing when I can sell a $200 thing, a $2,000 thing, or a $20,000 thing? And then I saw my friends doing books and getting on stages or getting in the media and getting on TV and getting picked to speak and things. And I'm like, oh, use it as a marketing tool. Okay, now I will write books, right? Because I'm always thinking about marketing and growing my reach and growing the business. And it's just one way to elevate yourself as an expert more as a celebrity, and all the things. I've been on TV multiple times now with books, and it's just a really great way to get clients, get speaking, get publicity, and make more money.
Okay, so you write the book and it really helps your business. What is actually happening with that book? Are people really reading the whole thing and digesting it?
Well, we hope so. That's why we write it, right? But there's reality check. So first off, if you're a fiction writer and you're writing novels, this is different. Okay, so we're talking about nonfiction mostly, people that want to write books around their story or their memoir or the process they take people through in their business, your system, what you teach on, your core strategies, life lessons. So those are the kind of books we're talking about mostly, the ones that I mostly do and also publish. And I work with people who want to use them as a marketing tool. Yes, everybody wants to make money off their books. I have made from one reader $14,000 because not because she bought my book, because she hired me in the back end to do coaching with her. And that was, I don't even know, 12 years ago, I think. Okay. So when the Love Yourself Successful book first came out, it was great because people would get to know, like, and trust me by reading my story. They would get excited about the tips that I shared right in that book. And then it made them easier to want to work with me. So if you write a book like that, where people can really get to know you, it's faster to get clients. So that's where the money comes. It doesn't come from selling hundreds of thousands of books. I'm sorry to tell you, but that's not, I will give my book away all day long. Happy to give books away if I know someone's going to read it and they're an ideal prospect, right?
Yeah.
So think about it differently, please.
No, right. So what are some, when looking to write a book and publish it, what are some of the do's and don'ts of publishing?
Well, okay. So if you're on Amazon, the KDP, right? There's so many tutorials on there. You could figure it out, but you could also spend 25 hours trying to figure it out, doing it yourself. Do you have 25 hours to spend to do it? Or, I paid a publisher to get my first full book done because I was building a business. I needed to get clients still. I didn't have time to go figure out the publishing end. So really weigh it. There's a lot of little things that can go wrong if you do something wrong. I have put together some great vendors for editing, cover design, inside layout. Those are the three main things you need to pay for besides an ISBN and then maybe someone to help you do a book launch. If you don't know the ins and outs of it, You might be doing a book. I see people doing book launches all the time with so many mistakes, and they don't get to number one, or they don't get to bestseller, and they wonder why. Well, because you tried to figure it out yourself. So it just depends on your goals. Yeah.
So you mentioned getting to number one and Amazon bestseller. See, I'm thinking like, God, well, everybody's an Amazon bestseller. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
Where is the value in that?
Well, you certainly don't have to do it. I didn't do it in the first few times in my books because I didn't care. I just wanted to get clients for my books, right? People who read them. And so I would sell them at networking events, speaking gigs, in the back of the room at exhibitor tables. But then, people that I was talking to, ideal clients and prospects, were very impressed about the bestseller thing. If your clients are in the world where they know a lot of best-selling authors and how it all works, then they won't maybe be it's still impressive. You have to get a lot of people. Usually it's around 300 to 400 books you have to sell, sometimes more, sometimes less, on a book launch day. And that's a lot of books, right? Now, the key is to get people to read it, right? Because some people will just help you and buy the book and then not read it. Well, that doesn't help us, but it gives us the status of the international book. So, I don't really need any more international best-selling books. I have 14 international best-selling books now. I have 22 books total. Many are other types of bestsellers, but not international bestsellers, which is a bestseller in more than one country. And so I do it though for my authors. I do compilation books a lot of times, one every year, maybe more next year. And I want them to be an international bestselling author. I don't know. I think a lot of people want that status. They want that in their bio. They want that read, when they're getting on stage. So it's a personal preference. You certainly don't have to do it.
Well, good to know. Thank you for that. And I'm just wondering though, so a marketing tool, you get known. What if somebody feels like, well, the big thing is, if you're a speaker, having that book, and you get more speaking gigs. What if somebody, well, that's not a goal of mine. Are there other types of goals that somebody has that maybe a book is going to help them with?
Yeah. I have had a client who, it's over here actually, this gal wanted to do a book with her mom and to leave a legacy. And so it was Miracles on My Doorstep. It was a very sweet book, and it's fat too. Her mom helped write it. She's getting in her, I think it was her 80s, so their whole purpose was to put a book together for them, right? If other people bought it, great. But that was something they wanted to do together as a mother-daughter. I see that a lot. I see also, I have a client who's writing a book about her experience with domestic violence in a previous relationship. And she wants it to get out, but she doesn't want it to get out. She wants it to get out, but she doesn't want it to get out, right? But she knows that if she gets it out and she helps one person, she's going to feel so good. So some people just want that. And it's not a just. That's amazing, right? If I can help one person with each book that I do, it's so fulfilling.
Right. So is in that case, then, is that something that still would go through Amazon and be published there, so that even though the mother-daughter writing a book for themselves, is that where they then would get their copy from, or are there other places that you can get published?
There are other places that you can publish. You can, if you're interested in getting into bookstores, there is another website you need to go to so that you're on the list for the bookstores to choose from. It's not an automatic get in, but they don't buy books from Amazon to get into bookstores. Okay, so there is a different process for that. I do have a couple clients who care about that. One that just went international #1 bestseller, actually, a couple weeks ago. And so I showed her how to get into the bookstore stuff. As far as printing goes, Amazon still is a really great and easy place to print. I print all my books there, regardless. It's just easy. You can drop ship, you can order from anywhere and ship anywhere. It's just convenient instead of going to a local printer, which I know I love to use local businesses. You can use local printers if you want to. It's just then you have boxes of books, right? And you're gonna get them out. So I just like Amazon. It's an easy way.
Yeah, you talk about having boxes of books. I just saw something, I think it was on Facebook. Somebody had just got their shipment of their books in. They were so happy. And it was literally a room filled with these boxes. And I was like,
I know.
really?
I saw that recently too. I don't know if it was the same person, but I was like, oh my God, you bought how many books? Because I usually keep 10 or 20 on hand at any given time, but nothing more than that unless I'm doing a big push or something.
Yeah, yeah. Now let's talk about the two different types. So you have people writing a whole book themselves, but then you have the compilation books where, oh, you only have to write a chapter. Oh, that
Yes.
sounds inviting. Uh,
Well, it is inviting for those who write the chapter. It's also a great income generator for the person who hosts the book. So the people that host their own compilation book, these are all compilation books that are of the brand of my clients that
Mhm.
I did the work on with all their authors, right? And so they made money on the publishing of these books.
Mhm.
My Jumpstart Your Blank books over here, this is the 6th year we did those, and we have anywhere from 10 to 25 authors in each book every year. And it's just an easy way. It's not about necessarily just getting published. And why you want to do more compilations is because it's an event every year. It's an opportunity for promotion, collaboration, and expansive reach. Think of if you're in a book with 10 other people. Maybe you don't know all those people, and they're all promoting your book, your chapter, and you're getting in front of their audiences. It's a great collaboration opportunity. So many people don't see it once they think, oh, I already have a book now, I don't need any more compilations. But I do a couple compilations every year because of that collaborative promotional opportunity. Always do marketing, always do marketing, always do marketing.
Yeah. Now, you talked about a little bit about, the mother and daughter and wanting to have something. Um, in the thought process of going into whether it's a full book or a chapter, you had mentioned something to me previously about thinking about your family and the future and where you saw all of this going. Can you talk a little bit more on that piece of when you're thinking about writing a book, when you're getting into that and thinking to the future?
Yeah. Well, I don't necessarily recommend that you write your own full book, like the full on, like my two full books, right? With the whole thing. That takes a lot of time. And if you're still growing your business and you need clients and cash flow, that's probably not where you want to spend your time. As a business coach, that's my professional advice for most cases, right? Let's spend time getting clients, speaking, networking, following up, marketing, selling, whatever. But maybe writing a chapter in a book, because that's just a long blog post, right? And boom, it's
Mhm.
done. And then somebody else is doing all the work. And then you get a promotion to do. But when to write when to write the whole full book is when you have some really consistent income. You can help, hire out some of the pieces. You're not an editor, you need that. You're not a cover designer, you need that. So you might want to launch, whether you do or not. You might need some help with the KDP stuff, but then just do it when it's the right time, right? And think about the whole big picture of your business and where it's going to fall and how it's going to flow in with everything you're doing, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes, it
Yeah.
does.
Otherwise,
Um,
you would have burnout and or take time away from your family if you're trying to fit too much in all at one time, right?
yeah, well, and I've heard numerous people over the years that they put so much time into writing their book, and then they woke up oh my goodness, I need to work on getting clients. Oh no, wait a
Right.
minute here. I put so much time into the book and I wasn't really concentrating on getting more clients.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's an order of importance in the things that you want to put into your to-do list or your year. If you're a few years into your business or you have lots of more startup capital, then you can put a book into your year, perhaps. Or if you're
Mhm.
single and you don't have a lot of kids in the household or anything, and you have more time, that's different. But
Yeah.
be careful sacrificing family, relationships, your self-care for doing the book because you think you have to do a book. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know.
Well, this has been wonderful, Katrina. Great information for our listeners. If they do want to learn more about how you can help them, not just with books, but in business, as you are Jumpstart Your Business coach, what's the best way for them to stay in touch with you?
Yeah. Well, there's free stuff on either one of the websites. So if you're interested in more of the business coaching and when to fit the book in and how, etc., then I would just go to the Jumpstart. It's jumpstartyourbiznow.com/free trainings. There's some free stuff there. If you want to really know more about the publishing end, then go to jumpstartpublishing.net, jumpstartpublishing.net. And there's 2 free things there. There's the free training on publishing in general, so you can get a little training on all the things you need to know. There's also a free training on marketing your books if you already have a book or if you want to think ahead. So there you go.
Well, I hope our listeners take advantage of that. A lot of free opportunities on your 2 websites. Well, Katrina, this has been wonderful. I do have one more last question for you. And this is about you and your business. As you say, you've been in business many years. When you think back, is there something that comes to mind that has helped you to really make it click in your business? And maybe it was something that you learned. Maybe it was a tech tool that you just love and can't live without. But does anything come to mind for you?
Yeah, well, there's plenty of tech tools, and I think hiring a team was probably the most important thing that made it click for me because you just I have a video on my YouTube. It's kind of a joke, but it's serious. It's 462 things you need to master as an entrepreneur, right? I'm like, overwhelming. So you got to have some people, some mentors, coaches, but virtual assistants, some techie people. You might need, I don't know, a chef, an assistant, a person, like get people. Stop trying to be a solopreneur and stay in your own little box. Like you can afford it. You can make more money once you leverage your time a little bit better. And people are so scared to do that, I think, in the beginning. And that is probably the biggest mistake I see.
Hmm. Great advice. Thank you so much for being on Make It Click, Katrina. This has been wonderful.